Rumbling through America's Southwest, Amtrak's Sunset Limited travels eastbound, the direction in which our second transcontinental railroad was built. We started in Los Angeles on this adventure on a passenger train that would head east until reaching New Orleans, Louisiana. In parts 1, 2, and 3, we shared our journey from Los Angeles to El Paso, Texas. Now we travel on to San Antonio, Texas. This is big desert country, the Wild West's open spaces. We passed miles of track improvement work. With so much freight crossing the country these days, railroad companies are investing heavily in infrastructure. We saw all kinds of interesting equipment, replacing ties, straightening rails, and replacing ballast, even hauling off the old ties. Since Amtrak runs on these rails, we ought to get a smoother ride in the future. For much of this route, we ran parallel to Interstate 10, but it was rarely within sight. Here we saw the border crossing from Arizona to New Mexico. Landscape remained the same no matter which state you were in. Even the little towns looked alike. I'm always intrigued by the towns left behind when traffic shifted to the interstate from the old two-lane highways. Now the Sunset Limited pulls east out of El Paso through a Union Pacific train yard and past this petroleum processing plant. Oil and Texas have long lived together, and there's still nothing quite like a West Texas sunset. Well, it is the Sunset Limited. West Texas towns like Alpine are on the small side, but very important to the railroad. Alpine is where the crew of the Sunset Limited rotates. We get new conductors and engineers.
I just recently saw a film. I can't remember the name, but those right now, down there somewhere. I think it's a part of our surprise.
This is West Texas. Lots of it.
Sanderson, Texas.
The sameness of the West Texas landscape is broken by this awesome sight, the Pecos River. The Sunset Limited crosses on the highest railroad bridge in North America. Further east, another bridge takes us across Lake Amistad, a lake shared in friendship between the United States and Mexico, near Del Rio, Texas. We parallel Highway 90, also known as the Old Spanish Trail. We're late arriving in San Antonio. It's usually dark when we meet a train called the Texas Eagle here. The Sunset Limited drops a sleeper and a coach here for their trip to Chicago. 2 cars shorter, the Sunset Limited continues eastbound toward New Orleans. There's still a lot of Texas down the tracks.